Hello, my name is Ariana Morgan, and this is my read aloud video for my 231 course. The video that I chose to read today is Arthur and the Perfect Brother. This is by Mark Brown, and the reading level is 3rd grade. So that is around 9 or 10 years old, and I would suggest that a child like 2nd grade or below should not read this book because it's a chapter book unless they are at that reading level. So, I'm just going to read an introduction and then I will go ahead and get started. So Arthur can hardly wait for the brain to come and stay at his house for the whole weekend. But when the brain compliments dinner, neatly folds all of his clothes, and reads stories to DW, he seems almost too perfect. Then Arthur pays a visit to the brain's house. I'm going to stop there and then start on chapter 9 and read until the end. Arthur, wake up. Huh? Arthur raised his head from his desk. His mother was standing over him. You fell asleep doing your math homework. I did? Arthur looked around his room. It looked the way it always did. Most important, his suitcase was still in the closet, and there were no famous scientist posters in sight. We didn't want to wake you, but Alan's mother called to say they were back. It's time for him to go. Will you walk him home? Arthur brightened. The brain's leaving, not me. His mother frowned. Why would you be leaving, Arthur? Well, I wouldn't, unless I had to because you made me. But you wouldn't do that. No, of course you wouldn't. Never mind. Miss Reed scratched her head. Arthur, you're not making a lot of sense. That's okay. He stood up. It was just a bad dream. So, where's the brain now? Downstairs. The last time I checked, he was teaching Kate the alphabet. Arthur went down to find him. The brain was sitting with Kate on the floor in the den. That's right, Kate. A, B, C. Time to go, said Arthur. All right, said the brain, putting the blocks away. We'll continue this another time, he added to Kate. The rest of the family was waiting by the door. Alan, it's been a pleasure, said Miss Reed. Your visit just flew by, said Mr. Reed. Your parents are very lucky to have a son like you. Yeah, said DW. Maybe we could work at a trade. Arthur stepped forward. Kids say the craziest things, don't they? He said, quickly ushering Brain out the door. I guess so. Bye, everyone. Thank you very much, Mr. and Mr. Reed, Mr. and Mrs. Reed, for your wonderful hospitality. He and Arthur walked together down to the corner. You know, Arthur, said the brain, it's still early. You want to come over to my house? We can make popcorn. Before I go on, this is the last page of that. Okay. No, I don't think so. Arthur looked at the ground. I still have a couple of those math problems to do. Couldn't you do them later? Arthur pretended to look shocked. Put off doing homework? What kind of student do you think I am? Okay, I get it. But, you're not mad at me, are you, Arthur? Who could be mad at you? You're the perfect son, the perfect brother, the perfect everything. I am? Arthur folded his arms. I'm sure you wish you could have stayed longer. The brain blushed. Said Arthur. I thought so. It's not that, said the brain. Well then, what is it? Promise you won't laugh? Arthur nodded. I'm a little homesick. Homesick? How can you be homesick? You had a great time from the first moment you got to my house. I know, Arthur, but it's still your house and your family. I miss mine. You do? The brain nodded. Suddenly, Arthur felt much better. You said, or popcorn, you said? With butter, if you want. All right, said Arthur. What are we waiting for? Chapter 10. The brain's mother was waiting at the front door when the boys arrived. Welcome home, Alan, she said, giving him a big kiss. Did you have fun? I hope you weren't any trouble for the Reeds. I don't think so. He was the perfect guess, said Arthur. Well, that's nice to hear, said Brain's mother. And when I say perfect, Arthur added, I mean perfect. Don't listen to him, said the Brain. You know how Arthur likes to exaggerate. He dropped his bag on the hall floor and started to walk away. Alan, the Brain turned. Okay. He picked up the bag. We're going to my room to put this stuff away. The Brain led the way up the stairs. When he got to his room, he walked right in. But Arthur paused in the doorway. I don't believe this, Arthur said. Clothes, books, and toys were spread around like confetti after a big parade. You don't believe what? Arthur waved his arms at the mess in front of him. How can your room look like it exploded or something? You were so neat at my house. I know. It almost killed me. Arthur's jaw dropped as the Brain emptied out his clothes into a mound on the floor. Then, that wasn't the new and improved you? No, just the old me, or just the old being a guest in somebody else's house me. Arthur looked very relieved. Want some popcorn now? The Brain asked. Okay. As they sat in the kitchen, listening to the popcorn pop, the Brain's father arrived at the back door with some groceries. Arthur jumped up to open the door for him. Need any help? He asked. Why, thank you, Arthur. The Brain's father gave his son a look. I hope you are paying attention, Alan. You could learn a few things from your friend. Arthur and the Brain just stared at each other, and they both burst out laughing. The end. And this is the ending picture. And then this was the front cover. Thank you.